Hello all. Looks like we've made it to week 4. We're at the halfway point. You've turned in 2 papers and you have 2 more to go. I just have a little gentle reminder for those of you who are behind. I will never give you less than a 50% on your work, no matter how late or how bad. And trust me, if you remember your math, it's easy to tell that getting a 50 is always better than getting a 0. With a 50, you might pass the class. Your discussions must be done on the week assigned. And for discussions, there are basically 2 grades. You can get a 0 or you can get 100 if you do it. Not doing the discussions makes the highest possible grade that you could get is an 80 for the class. So please do make sure that you get the rest of these done. Your draft for week 3 is due by Sunday of this week, the Sunday coming up. Get it in by noon, and then I can, or earlier, and I will comment and return them to you as quickly as possible so that you can get your final drafts done by Tuesday. As I was reviewing content for week 4, I found I was having a problem trying to log into the lesson that's there on APA. And so I go ahead and I'm giving you a link to the Purdue OWL. And what I have done is not giving you just the APA. I put you to the research and citation resources. It talks to you about conducting research, using research, and here's a very helpful little step. Cite your source automatically using APA or MLA format. And you tell it what kind of work site you have, and then it will ask you for the information, and it'll give you the documentation format. All right, there's APA 7th edition. You can go there. It will walk you through all the various steps of the APA format. And this is also helpful because if you're doing a different class, there's MLA format, there's Chicago style, and the IEEE and your AMA are all found here. Oh, and by the way, just a note here, Chicago Style Manual is also sometimes called Turabian, and that's because there was this person named, her last name was Turabian, and she wrote herself all sorts of notes on using the Chicago Style Manual, and it was so good her friends started paying her for it, and now it is actually a book, but it is Turabian and Chicago Style Manual are the same. All right, in addition, I'm always getting little emails from the Grammar Girl. There was one this week on a little lesson on 6 Latin abbreviations that you should know. And then there are all other lessons. Now, some of these you have to pay for, but most of what's on here is free. And so I gave you a link to Grammar Girl here. And you can get some of those little free lessons sent to you from here. So well worth watching and listening to. Things, you'll find a lot of little lessons like when you would use imply versus infer. A lot of those little grammar rules that people aren't comfortable with. So have a good look there and add that to your bookmarks. In addition, there's another one. I have this on my computer. I've got it set up for my computer completely, and this is Grammarly. Grammarly is free grammar lessons. It will, if you've got Chrome or whatever, you can be writing and it automatically checks your grammar and your spelling and your punctuation and such and offers you suggestions. Again, this is free. It's nice to have on your computer, on your your phone, and it will provide you with all sorts of information and good help. So, again, well worth downloading. Some comments on your first 2 weeks. Even though the instructions don't say to do this anymore, on the header you will add your page number. And for me, I like having the title of your work or the name of your name on that header section, just so that it's on every page for me. Make sure that you do have a page that, in your page, there's a place where it has your name and your class number. When you're using lists or bullets, don't do them if you only have one item. You only use them if you have two or more. And this is just a little lesson that I have found very helpful for me. Before I actually start researching or working on my topic, I think about what I already know. And I kind of make a little list of items that I know, so that later on when I'm actually writing the document, I review that list, and then as I'm writing my document, I'll go, oh, wait a minute, I didn't know this before. Make sure I put the documentation. So it just helps you to remember what needs to be cited based on what you didn't know before. Most of the things that you know before are probably going to be those things that are common knowledge. Things like George Washington was the first president of the United States. Doesn't have to be cited because no matter where you look, that's the information you'll find. But if, for example, you were to see something about the fact that he wore bunny slippers, then obviously that's something not everybody knows, so you'd need to cite that. For your next assignment, be sure to review the week 4 content. We're going to have a look at that in a minute. There is a lesson on argument that will help you understand one of the rule makers for writing argument, and this one is Toolman. Also beware as you write your questionnaire. If you're interviewing people in your workspace and such, and you put together a questionnaire, avoid double negatives. Most of you probably remember from math class, if you have 2 negatives, it will equal a positive. So if you'll have a look here, your jury of English majors, I didn't do nothing, and everybody goes, oh good, a confession. This one you may need to be a little bit older, comma, 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 chameleon. Look up the song if you don't know it. Here's a 3-page email, and I brought you a gift. It's a clump of blank space. You can use it to separate long, rambling sentences. And next week, I'm going to introduce you to this curvy little thing I call a comma. I before E, except when you run a feisty heist on a weird beige foreign neighbor. And then you are judged. So do remember. And this one, the TOO, if you think about whiny little kids going, I want something too, how that double O just drags out. But have a look. These are some things that we run into mistakes all the time. All right, let's have a quick look at the content on week 4. All right, at the end of this week, you're going to submit your writing assignment for work for 3. That is due on Tuesday. But by Sunday, get in your draft so I can have a look at it and make comments and get them back to you as quickly as possible. This is a memo. And this is the primary research for your final paper. And this is basically where you're going to be talking to the person who would give you permission to do the final paper. And on this paper, the final paper, I'm going to expect that you're going to have a little bit of primary research where you talk to people who are in your workplace or in your neighborhood and get some information from them before you actually do your research. Your secondary research is you find what other people have found on that topic. So, for example, someone in this class is going to be working on lighting helping prevent accidents. And so she's going to interview people in her neighborhood about what they think about the lack of lights. But she's also going to be looking up research that has shown how adding more street lights makes a difference. All right. So have a look through these. There's some lessons on how to put your final paper together. Be planning ahead. This is going to be, that paper 4 is worth 35% of your course grade. Without that final paper, you cannot pass this class. This week's readings contain legal implications of business writing. If you write a report for your boss recommending a new delivery service, you might mention the name of your current bottled water and why that vendor needs to be replaced. But don't say insulting things in here because it could get back to that person and your company could get sued. If you're talking about your workmate, don't mention their name unless you have their permission. If you're talking about a person who's having some back problems, do not mention this person's name without their permission. All right. By the end of this week, you'll be able to design strategies for primary research, which means the research that you are doing personally. It will demonstrate awareness of legal implications of business writing. It will explain classical rhetorical strategy and Toulmin's 3-part rhetorical strategy. It will demonstrate the understanding of APA. And again, if that APA section's not open, go back and have a look at the Purdue OWL. All right, so in here we've got strategies for quality interviews, how to ask the questions, and to make sure that the information you're getting is going to be useful. You'll be able to design questions and create your questionnaires. You'll learn about making an argument, and this is where your section is on Toulmin. You will find the library APA, and again, if it's not up when you go there, go have a look at OWL. And here's a video on creating a multi-source paragraph and how to cite it. You know, if you're quoting the same person 3 or 4 times in the paper, how do you put the citations in there? Here is a sample for writing assignment number 3. It will offer some techniques and alternatives. Here's how to put together a good memo. And here's a writing sample for assignment number 4, the APA 6th edition. And finally, we've got our memo for this week. Make sure that your 2 memos are posted by Friday evening so that your classmates can get their responses back to you by Sunday. And then finally, here is the assignment for writing assignment number 3, the overview and how to do it, and questions that you might be asking. But again, this is leading up to your writing assignment number 4. All right, folks, I hope this helps a little bit. If you